Our presentation today is on the saltwater balance in animals and its impact on the resource partitioning in aquatic fish. The objective of this presentation is to describe the methods in which marine and freshwater fish regulate their saltwater balance, explain how some species are able to convert between these two methods, define resource partitioning and its role in aquatic environments, and denote the benefits of salinity-driven adaptations through resource partitioning. Aquatic organisms have undergone morphological, physiological, and behavioral adaptations that allow them to regulate their internal environments with habitats of various percentages of salinity. A prominent example of this would be adaptations in the excretory system and processes, enabling these animals to maintain their internal osmotic balance within the body, a process known as osmoregulation. Animals that inhabit freshwater habitats have an external environment that is less concentrated than their bodily fluids. Moreover, water is consistently present in excess, which leads to water retention and the production of large quantity of dilute urine. The process of producing dilute urine allows for ion retention and the release of unneeded water. The kidneys are the primary organs involved in water filtration. In addition, freshwater fish also possess chloride cells. These cells are located in the gills and function to obtain ions from the water and transport the ions into the bloodstream. Water is also absorbed through the skin through passive diffusion in accordance with the concentration gradient. Marine fish face essentially the opposite issue. Their external environment is far more saturated than their bodily fluids. In order to obtain an adequate amount of water, marine fish can consistently be seen drinking seawater. The water that is ingested is absorbed into the bloodstream, and the kidneys produce small amounts of concentrated urine to rid the body of excess salts. The chloride cells in marine fish, also located in the gills, function alongside the kidneys in removal of salts from the body. Certain animals have adapted to permit movement between marine and freshwater habitats. These animals are known as inhabitomous fish, meaning that they spend the majority of their lives in marine environments, but migrate to freshwater to spawn. These features that allow for this behavior are well-developed kidneys and chloride cells that are dual functioning. Salmon are a primary example of this behavior. These fish are born in freshwater, where they develop the ability to osmoregulate in this level of salinity. Shortly after birth, the young then begin preparing to migrate to marine environments. This process commences by the young drinking large quantities of water and producing only minimal amounts of urine. In addition, their chloride cells shift their function from retaining ions from the water to releasing ions from the body into the water. The young salmon are then able to migrate into salt water. Once the salmon become adults, they will then migrate back to the freshwater to spawn. For this conversion to occur, the adults will remain in an estuarial zone for a matter of days, where the changes are performed automatically. The bull shark is a species that also is able to swim between salt and fresh water. However, their processes of osmoregulation differs from the salmon. These sharks are able to convert ammonia to urea efficiently and will retain the urea in the bloodstream. This process results in the blood being slightly more concentrated than the water. Through this mechanism, water loss is prevented, and they do not need to ingest water when in the marine environments. Excess salts are able to be excreted through the rectal gland. The conversion of osmolarity processes is controlled by the brain and regulated through the hormone processes. Resource partitioning can be defined as one or more species evolving in a manner that allows each species to inhabit different regions of the environment, utilize different resources, and or feed at different times of the day. These changes reduce competition between species as the overlap between the resources used from each species is minimized. The water-salt balance prevents organisms that are adapted to specific ranges of salinity from crossing over into habitats of different salinity due to the alternate properties that are present in the water of different salinities. The changes in salinity affect the organism's ability to retain and utilize both the nutrients and the ions that are present in the water. An evident manner in which fish have adapted to reduce competition is through inhabiting waters of different salinity. By evolving water-salt balance mechanisms that are strictly suited toward a specific range of salinity, the marine and freshwater species are each able to make use of similar resources in different habitats, thus minimizing the competition between these species. An example of this can be seen by comparing whitefish species and ocean herring. Several similarities are present between these fish. However, they are each able to feed on minuscule organisms without competition between each other, as the whitefish species is restricted to freshwater habitat. In like manner, spatial zones in marine habitats are seen to present varied salinities that correspond with the depths of the water. The salinity in each spatial zone also restricts its inhabitants, thus allowing resource partitioning between the depths of the ocean. Resource partitioning through the process of feeding at different times of the day is a commonality for several deep-sea fish. At certain depths of the ocean, food is present in scarce supply. In order to survive, migrations to different spatial zones is performed to acquire nutrition while avoiding the high level of competition that is present during the daylight hours. This is known as temporal resource partitioning. These orders within Protocantheropterygii demonstrate the evolutionary differences that lead to resource partitioning of aquatic environments and specialization of their osmoregulatory processes. The salmonids have acquired an anadromous lifestyle which have allowed them to alternate between fresh and saltwater environments. The asociforms are completely restricted to freshwater, and the osmeriforms contain primarily marine species. Each of these orders have adapted to inhabit waters of certain salinities and in turn have reduced the competition of aquatic environments. Osmoregulatory adaptations that have occurred to allow fish species to inhabit areas of aquatic environments has provided several benefits as it has partitioned the resources of these environments. Benefits include reduced competition between species for overlapping resources, increased species richness, increased species diversity, and a larger ecological range and distribution for fish species.